opportunity for the first time to speak a bit on the parashat that was for this week is the parashat Tetzaveh. So please have understanding if it doesn't work so fine, because it's the first time I use it and I must learn how to handle these things. So I am studying Torah for almost 20 years and try my best to decipher to what is in every parashat and wrote comments. Now I decided to go live and to share with his brethren, for we are all part of one body, there is no other. So if you are online, you will see that we are all struggling with our work, and it's good to share and to help one another. So I will share some view I have in this parashat Tetzaveh, which started in so I have my Bible beside me. So if you see me turning my head, it's just that I dig into the Torah, and we will see together some interesting points in a spiritual ways, which is in the plain text in the Torah. So we go to the book of Shemot, which is Exodus, chapter 27, and start with the verse 20, where we get the name of this parashat, which is the word translated in the King James as command, which is Tetzaveh. And I will read, and we'll go to dig a bit. So here we see, and you shall command the children of Israel, so Tetzaveh, you shall command the children of Israel that they bring the pure olive beaten for the light, to cause the lamp to burn always. Always is the word tamid, which is perpetual, do not stop, without stopping. This light is commanded to burn always in the tabernacle of the congregation without a veil, which is before the testimony. The testimony is where we have the ark. Aaron and his son shall order it from evening to morning before Jehovah. Also from evening is Erev to Boker in the morning. This means this menorah will burn throughout the night, which is called darkness. And we will see soon the connection, which is very important in the literal and spiritual. Before Jehovah, it shall be a statute forever unto the generation on the behalf of the children of Israel. So this statute is forever, Leolam, which means which do not stop until Jehovah come back, because he will be the light. So now, this is here the construction of the tabernacle, which started already in the parasha from last week with the parasha Teruma, and we see something very, very interesting. How the Torah is full of a revelation to help us to grow in the perfect knowledge of the will of Elohim and of our Master, Yahushua HaMashiach. Now, if we look here, we see that the commandment is to bring light into the darkness. And we see in the first book of Bereshit, Genesis, in the verse 4 and 5, we see Elohim, and I will read. And he say, and Elohim called the light day, and the darkness he called night, and the evening and the morning were the first day. In verse 4, he said, in verse 3 and 4, he said, and Elohim say, let there be light, and there was light. And Elohim saw the light that was good, and Elohim divided the light from the darkness. The purpose of the light is to bring darkness, light into the darkness, to separate light and darkness. And Apostle Shaul, known as Paul, speak in the book of Thessalonians and said, you are not of the night, you are of the light. You are not of darkness, you are of the light. And this is very important to understand the spiritual aspect of light and darkness. And we will see that if you go to the book of Yohanan, the book of John, in the first chapter, we're going to read something very interesting. speaking, just to turn to the first chapter of the book of Yohanan, and I will read for you from the verse 1. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with Elohim, and the Word was Elohim. The same was in the beginning with Elohim. And I will take a translation which do not use the same personal pronoun. All things were made by it, and without it was not anything made that was made. In it, because it referred to the Word, was life, and the light was in the light of man. And the verse 5 is say, and the light shines in darkness, and the darkness comprehend it not. You see here we have again the reference to this light which shines in the darkness. In the parasha Tetzaveh, which is part of the construction of the tabernacle, we see that Elohim commanded Moshe to say that the children of Israel shall bring the pure olive oil beaten for the light, to cause the lamp to burn always. This light is the light of the menorah, the lampstand, which is in the second part, in the holy place, not in the most holy place, but in the holy place, where we find the menorah facing the 12 loaves of bread. And here in this place, only the sons of Aaron were able to enter. Not all the Levites, but the priests, the sons of Aaron, were entering this place to serve before Jehovah. This is very interesting, because in the Parashat Terumah we learn about the construction of the tabernacle. We have the outside place, then we have the first veil which bring into the court, the courtyard where the Levites were serving with the cleansing, with the bronze materials, before we enter the holy place, which is separate with a veil and 5 pillars, which represent the 5 book of Moshe, before entering the holy place. And this is very interesting, because this is a process we go through when we encounter Mashiach Yehoshua. He is the one who brings us to the first doors, because he say in the book of John, I am the door. And he is a door to bring us into this first courtyard in order to be washed before we enter the holy place where we can serve Elohim. And this is a process which every believer should understand, that we need to go there. The outside camp, which is from the north, the south, the east, and the west, where we have the 12 tribes, which are positioned, represent the world which we know today, with the 4 corners of the earth, from the east to the west, from the north to the south. All these 12 tribes were positioned in the north. We have 3 tribes in the south, 3 tribes in the east, 3 tribes, and in the west, 3 tribes. So all the tribes had to come inside in order to bring their offering, or to bring their offering for sins to the priests who were in the courtyard, and then they will be cleansed, washing, before the priest could intercede in the holy place where the menorah and the 12 loaves of bread were. And we know that in the most holy place, where we have the Ark of the Covenant, only the high priest was able to enter once a year. So here we have the constriction. When we read the parasha or the parashut, they mean the mini parashut for every week, we need to have in mind that he will always reflect to Yeshua and the body of Mashiach. And we are this body, we are this building. Paul used another metaphor explaining that we are living stones coming together to build this spiritual building in the book of Ephesians, saying that Yeshua is the chief cornerstone. So we are all partaker. We need to have that in mind in order to accept everybody, everyone who is keeping Torah from every assembly, even if they don't speak the name the way we speak it, even if they don't have the same understanding. We are all one body, and Yeshua is the head of the body. This is very important to understand. Now, to go back to the tabernacle. The tabernacle is simply a revelation of the spiritual realm put on earth. This earth we are living now, I can show you that it was not so before Adam's sin, and it will not be so when after the millennium. I will show you that, because Yeshua brings us back to the state, the spiritual state of Adam before sin. Unfortunately, our flesh need to wait until Yeshua come back in order to bring us to this full stand, to this full position. Charles said in the book of Romans, I think it is in the chapter 8:29. I will just look in the book of Romans, chapter 8, verse 29. Just bear with me. I just turn to Romans, and I will show you something which is wonderful. Let's see here. He said in the verse 29, he said, 8:29, for whom he did foreknow, he also did predestinate to be conformed to the image of his Son, that he, the Son, might be the firstborn among many brethren. You see, this is how we are working for that. But he say in the verse 23, he say, and not only, but ourselves also, which have the first fruit of the Spirit, even we ourselves grown within ourselves, waiting for the adoption, the redemption of our body. You see, we are waiting for the redemption of our body. The spiritual man in us is already redeemed through the work of Mashiach, and we are brought back in the place where Adam was before sin. So the world today, which is called the world of the word of action, is the word of Azia in the Hebrew, is the word of action. This world is called to disappear, according to Yeshayahu, or the Isaiah 65, and according to the book of Revelation 21, verse 1. This world will be transformed and go back to the state where Adam lived before sin, which is called the word of Yetzirah, or the word of formation. This is where we see Adam and Hava walking in the cool of the day. You see, this world we cannot see today because of sin, but it will go back. This is what is fascinating to study the Torah. When we come together to study the Torah, I know this is a lot of information I give, but I assure you that if you go step by step, every week, reading the parashat and trusting Elohim to bring the perfect knowledge, every one of us, we will grow together in a one mind and one accord. And we will see that it is so important, because Paul tells us in the book of Romans chapter 12, verse 2, he said, I beseech you, brethren, do not be conformed to this world, but be you transformed by the renewing of your mind. How can we renew the mind? Because the mind, we cannot open our brain and just empty the trash we have inside. This brain has been filled since our birth with a lot of, I call that garbage, because this is the thought of the world. And in order to remove this garbage, false teaching in the school, in the house, with our parents who are not believers, or with the friends, we have put a lot of informations in our mind which influence our thinking today. Paul said, forget that. You have to renew your mind. The only way to renew the mind is to take away what is inside and to put something new. How do I do that? Simply by studying the Torah. The Torah is the word of Elohim. It's not the word of man. Moshe was a servant of the Most High Elohim, and he received this word and gave it. Yeshua say, the word, my word, they are spirit and they are truth. So if we take this parasha week after week, patiently, year after years, and we read it, even when we don't understand, this parasha, this word, will have its way in our life and will be transformed. We will be renewed in our thinking, in the way we see the things, no more like the world see it, but we will be transformed. I encourage everyone to do it. I did the experience almost 20 years ago when I started to study the Torah, and my wife did it 12 years ago when we met, and she also practiced that. And we see the change in our life. The nature will be changed so that we become more and more in the image of our Master, Yehoshua HaMashiach. Because this is the will of Elohim for us, that when Yeshua come back, we will be called, people of Elohim, children of the Most High Elohim, Am Israel, people of Israel. So read the parasha. There is a lot of information inside that we may not understand directly, but we need to have in mind that when we read the Torah, we have to focus on two things: ourselves, the carnal man, and on Yeshua and the body of Mashiach, because this is how we understand the scripture. You see, today, if you go into Judaism, there is a difficulty because there is no Yeshua. They believe on the Mashiach, the coming back of the Mashiach, but there is not the understanding of the work of Yeshua. It is Yeshua, or the Yehoshua, who removed the scale before the heart in order to understand spiritual truth. And the Torah is a spiritual book. We have to understand that we have to apply what the Torah says in order to become spiritual people. So I encourage you to read the parasha. It goes from the chapter, Exodus chapter 27, and it goes on up to the chapter, I will tell you that if I find it, because I am just opening now, is to the next parasha, which is, I have an old Bible, to the chapter 33, 12. So you will find it. I cannot here open my books because I cannot see it. But I encourage you to read every Shabbat, to read the parasha, to be faithful to the word. It is written in the book of Acts, chapter 15, that the newcomers go into the assembly, and it is written. I want to read for you before I close for today. And if you have questions, I can really answer. It's very interesting because in the book of Acts, there was a dissension between the people and the believer in Yeshua. And here, it is what Yaakov, called James in the English version, say. He say, for the newcomers in the Torah, he say, wherefore my sentence is that we trouble not them which from among the Gentiles, these were Gentiles, there is a lot to say about it, are turned to Elohim, but that we write unto them that they abstain from pollution of idols, fornication, things strangled, and blood. And then he added, for Moses of all time, as in every city, them that preach him been read in the assemblies every Shabbat day. You see, it was tradition that during the Shabbat, the Torah is read in the assembly. Because at this time, there was no book. There was only scrolls. And not everybody could have a scroll because it is very expensive. And it was not available for every believers. So they went to the assembly and where the Torah was read in order to hear the Torah. Here the Torah is read and it is written, Shema Israel, which means you hear and you do. The word Shema means hear and do. So you see, in the first century, people were very disciplined to go to the assembly, to hear the Torah, and to put into practice. And every newcomer was commanded to go to the synagogue and to do the same. So it is for us today. We need to, if we don't go to the assembly is simply in the house. The man with his wife is already in assembly. Yeshua said, where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, there I am. You see, the assembly is the people who come together. It's not the building. It is people. We are an assembly of people. You see, so I encourage you, and I will try to prepare myself better for the next parasha to give you some insight. Just a last word concerning the word Gentiles. If you research on the word Gentiles is a strange translation from the word Goyim in Hebrew, which means nations. So Gentiles who are there, some believe they are pagans, some believe they are nations, but which nations? So in order to find the right interpretation for Gentiles, there is only one way. We need to go back to the Torah, and we know who are these Gentiles, and we will know who are these people called Gentiles. And you will see they are not pagans. They are not people who do not have nothing to do with the Elohim of Israel. If you come to the belief of Yeshua Messiah, it is because it is the will of Elohim, and we need to know that. Don't let people tell you that you are a coincidence, that you believe just because it is nice to believe Torah. No, you are coming to the Torah of the living Elohim because it is Him who called you. He called you to do that. He called us to be there because He promised by the prophet of old that He will seek for His people one by one. So make a research into the word Gentiles, and you will see Paul speaks about that in the book of Romans. And if you want to know more about the Gentiles, you have to look for the work of Elohim in the life of Abraham and Yaakov, and you will understand who are these Gentiles, these Goyim. There is no coincidence. So I will say Shabbat Shalom. Thank you for your patience and to have joined, and I hope we see you again in the next Shabbat. So I say, may Yehovah bless you and keep you, and to go through your journey. Yes, I see Alvin say ger or proselyte. Yes, ger as stranger. It is very interesting. It is a good point. In fact, everyone in the time of Moshe could join himself to Israel, to the children of Israel. This is a command we have to accept everybody. So when I speak about the nations, the Goyim, it's not that there is no place for the stranger. No, everyone is welcome. But in the moment, according to, not my opinion, but according to Paul, in the book of Ephesians, you can read that everyone that come to the Torah become member of the house of Elohim, and is no more called a stranger, but is called Israelite. Is called children of Israel. Okay? And that is very important to understand, because there is only one assembly who will be saved, and only one where Yeshua will reign. This is the house of Yaakov. That is in the book of Luke 1, chapter 1, verse, I think, 33. Okay? So we have to know, the proselyte, the name proselyte, I don't like so much, but the word ger is because, like Yehovah said to Moshe, you were stranger, you were gerim in the land of Israel, of Egypt. This is why we have to love the ger. So we are not superior people. We are like everyone. We have man of blood and flesh, and we have a spiritual life. So this life must reflect the life of Yeshua. We must be humble and do justly in this world. So with everybody, no matter, because there are many ignorant people in this world, and once we were also ignorant. So we have to accept that and to work this way. So my brethren, I thank you for your time, and we hope to see you, Jehovah's willing, in the Philippines at the end of the year. So pray for us that we may be able to come. Shalom and Shavua Tov for all of you. Bye-bye.